Hey guys, and welcome back to Franchise Nation. I'm your host, Moonlightswami, and today I have another league recap for you guys. As it is Monday, I hope your weekend went well. Hope your teams did well, unless they were facing off against one of my teams, and then, well, sorry. So, my team being the Patriots. But this week, it is week number 11. So, we've gone through 10 games 10 weeks of the season. Most teams have played 9 games. As you can see, I don't think anybody's played 10 as of yet, because this is week 11. Yeah. So, everybody's played 9 games so far, and we're going to take a look at the standings, and we also have some breaking news before we get into that. Our right tackle, Zach Strief, has been suspended 4 games due to a performance-enhancing drug violation. He will be eligible to return back for week number 15. He has elected not to appeal. The details are not out on what the actual drug was, but he is going to be out, which means that Andres Pete will be starting at right tackle for the next 4 games. So let's look at the standings. NFC West, the Seahawks lead the way at 7-2. Then the Rams and Cardinals at 4-5, with the 49ers at 2-7. NFC East, 3 teams tied at 5-4, with the Eagles down at the bottom at 3-6. NFC South, the Panthers at 7-2, Saints at 6-3, Falcons on a 4-game winning streak at 5-4, and the Bucs have lost 6 straight at 1-8. In the NFC North, the Packers and the Bears are at the top, with the Vikings and Lions rounding out the division. In the AFC West, the Broncos hold a commanding 2-game lead over the Chargers, 3 over the Raiders, and 4 over the Chiefs. AFC East, the Patriots and Tom Brady still lead the way at 6-3, 4-5 Bills, and then Jets and Dolphins at the bottom. AFC South, the Colts have a resurgence, and it's thanks to Andrew Luck. 8-1, leads the way by 3 games over Texans, Jaguars, and 4 over the Titans. And lastly, the AFC North, the Bengals and Steelers at the top, Ravens and Browns make up the bottom half. So if the season was to end today, the teams that would make the postseason are the Seahawks, the Panthers, the Packers, the Bears, the Saints, and the Cowboys. So we are in line for a playoff spot as of this moment, but a lot can change down the stretch. In the AFC, it would be the Colts, the Broncos, the Patriots, the Texans, and the Jaguars and Bengals. So with that being said, let's take a look at some stats and awards and all that jazz. First and foremost, with Brian Hoyer benched, it's the Wesley Ripkowski show. 60%, 501 yards on 64 pass attempts, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks so far in 2 starts for Wesley Ripkowski. Rushing, it's Rakeem Blackman dominating. 1,100 yards, 5.3 per carry, 9 touchdowns. 5 fumbles, though. He does have a lot of yards after contact, and he has been getting involved more in the passing game, but his hands do need to improve. We need to get Mark Ingram more involved. Only 5 carries on the season. Really, it's all been Blackman, but we can't allow him to keep carrying all the load for this team. Next up, it is wide receivers. Kent Clemens has 3 more receptions than Michael Thomas, but 360 or 72 yards more thanks to his absurd 20 yards per reception. He's been really good for us, but as a rookie, he's starting to struggle a little bit, and force-feeding him might not be the best idea. Need to get Willie Snead and company involved a little bit more. Jamize Alawala has a couple drops, which has limited his output. But there's Rakeem Blackman with 23 receptions. So tight ends need more receptions as well. Only 13 for the 2 guys who are active right now, and DeMarcus Edens with 11. Blocking-wise, Teron Armstead, Hugh Thornton, Zach Strief, and Corey Stuvance have all had a sack. None from Max Unger, but we get the ball out of our quarterback's hands pretty quickly. On defense, Shad Houston, 86 tackles through 9 games. Von Bell, 65, Cam Jordan, Hastings, etc. Tackles for a loss, that is Shad Houston with 14, Cam Jordan and Hastings both with 9. Onyemata's been pretty good as well. And then we have the sack numbers. We really didn't expect that much out of Dominique Easley, being primarily a run stopper for us, but lining up at defensive end in a 4-3, he has 9 sacks so far this season. More than Cameron Jordan, who has been more of a playmaker in the run game, though, this season. And then we have Rankins, who is putting together a fantastic season of his own, and David Onyemata. Interceptions, that is all Delvin Breaux, Hastings, Von Bell, DeJohn Smith, Kenny Vaccaro, and Captain Munnerlyn. Deflections, that is Von Bell, who probably should have had more, And forced fumbles, well, Shad Houston leads the way in that category. Tied with Vaccaro and Dominique Easley, all with 3. Huh, I'm a little surprised by that. Kicking-wise, Will Lutz has only missed 1 kick, and it's because it was blocked. It was a point after. He's 20 for 20 on the season. He has been phenomenal. Punt-wise, Javier Moran, 18 punts inside the 20. He has just been superb for us so far this season. Kick returns, we've had a few different guys. We've started to put Willie Snead back there, get him a little bit more involved because he's so dynamic. But Adam Humphries has done a good job for us when he has been healthy. Before looking any further, I just wanted to show Vernon Adams, 1,700 yards, 284 attempts, 7 touchdowns, 10 picks at 61%. He's been sacked a lot, and he hasn't been getting a lot of big plays, but he has not had much help from his team. I mean, Mike Davis is their starting running back right now. He has 4 rushing touchdowns as well, but receiving-wise, it's not a great group. I mean, Terrell Pryor and Torrey Smith aren't bad, but they're not exactly ideal for them. Passing-wise, Tom Brady leads the NFL in passing yards with Dalton, Ben Roethlisberger, and Andrew Luck behind him. Touchdowns, though, it's Roethlisberger, then Luck, 20 touchdowns to 2 picks on the season. What a season for him. Brody Cochran has been great for the Jets as well. Let's take a look and see what other rookies have been doing. Let's see, Aaron Rodgers has been all right, Stafford all right, Wilson's been good, Cam's been very good now, really elevating his team around him. Bridgewater and Winston, kind of subpar, Tannehill shaky, Colt McCoy starting for the Redskins has been atrocious. And Darren Lane definitely has underperformed in his rookie season for the Chicago Bears, 10 touchdowns, 11 picks, 56%, but he is a rookie. And Stanley Hartsock, 1,000 yards on 128 pass attempts. I mean, that's fantastic. 66%. Both he and Phillip Rivers have been great so far this season, and Hartsock obviously playing for him. And Keenan Hines for Romo has been decent as well, but we didn't expect a lot of Keenan Hines to begin with. All right, moving on. Running backs. Blackman leads the way in carries and yards by a wide margin. I mean, that's just absurd. Touchdowns, he's tied for the lead with TJ Yeldon and Eddie Lacy. Fumbles, he probably is near the top. Rashad Lansana is up there, another rookie, but broken tackles, he's up on near the top of the list. Elliott, Rawls, Bernard, McCoy, Vereen. But the yards after contact are where he shines. He's always falling forward, always making men miss. 389 yards so far after contact. Receiving, Rob Gronkowski leads the way in receptions. But it's receiving yards that we see Kent Clemens up top. Antonio Brown is up there as well, 48 receptions for 803 yards. Then Dez, Odell, etc. Touchdowns, it's Dez, Dorsett, Brown, Hopkins, Gronkowski, and then a big drop-off for a bunch of other players. Sacks allowed, Taylor Decker, Gilbert, Robinson, and Eric Flowers at the top. Sean Shaughnessy still struggling. Brandon Cartwright struggling. George Humber as well. A lot of sacks for these young offensive linemen. In terms of tackles, only one better than Shad Houston is Demario Davis for the Browns, but our defense is a lot better than theirs. So, take that as you will. Tackles for a loss, Muhammad Wilkerson, Fletcher Cox, Shad Houston. Let's break it down by division or by conference just to be safe. Make sure we see everything. Okay. Sacks, 12.5 for Brandon Graham, 10.5 for Akeem Spence, 9 for Ansah, 10 for Ansah, 10 for Quinn, 9.5 for Hayes, 9 for Short, Floyd, Brockers, and Easley. Ironic that bunch of players from the Rams, obviously Easley was on the Rams not too long ago. In the AFC, it's Khalil Mack, followed by Justin Houston and J.J. Watt. Interceptions, Chris Harris Jr. with 7, Revis with 5, Barry with 4. But in the NFC, Josh Norman with 11 interceptions, Marius Randall with 5. So that's crazy. Kicking-wise, Lutz is the best in the biz right now, and we're not going to show the rest. So let's take a look at some career statistics, leaders, and then we'll take a look at the award chases right now. Looking at defensive interceptions, nobody has cracked this list in a very long time. But Josh Norman has 11 interceptions through 9 games, so if anybody could come close to breaking Dick Lane's record of 14 interceptions in a season, then probably is going to be Josh Norman. Taking a look at interceptions in a game, don't see anybody relevant there either. we finally do have the yearly award standings. As you can see, Andrew Luck is currently the frontrunner, followed by Cam, Dalton Brady, and Rakeem Blackmon. Looking at Coach of the Year, it's Sean Payton with the Colts, Pete Carroll, Gary Kubiak, Ron Rivera. I mean, we're up there, but definitely doing a good job. AFC, Offensive Player of the Year is Luck. Defensive is Khalil Mack. Rookie of the Year is Brody Cochran, followed by Jarvis Cochran. And then on the other side, it's Cason Brown, Markeith Ridley, Frank Esponda, etc. Let's take a look at the NFC, though. Offensive Player of the Year, it's Rakeem Blackmon thus far. I mean, that's really quite impressive. Defensive Player of the Year, it's Norman, Trevathan. No one on the list, unfortunately. But Rakeem Blackmon, Offensive Rookie. Kent Clemens is up there. Joey Shatley is up there too, despite only playing in a handful of games. Defensively, it's Chad Houston, followed by B.J. Perryman, Garrick Favors, John Hastings, A.J. Fangupo, Rayvon Rudolph, etc. Best QB, well, we don't belong anywhere near her, but Matt Ryan is at the top of that list. Off to best running back, it's clearly Rakeem Blackmon. Best wide receiver, Kent Clemens is up there. Only a 68 overall, but he's competing with some of the best in the business as of right now. And Michael Thomas is up there as well, with another rookie, Darian Strickland from the Packers. O-line, Teron Armstead has been excellent for us despite a couple faux pas. A lot of Panthers on here, a lot of Cowboys. D-line, well, I think that it's a little unfair that Dominique Easley's this far down. He's been really quite excellent. Linebacker, the fact that they don't have Chad Houston on here is just atrocious. And then defensive back, it's Norman, and, well, kicker goes to Will Lutz. So let's take a look at the remaining schedule for the Saints. We have a lot of home games coming up, so we'll take a look at that real fast. Let's see, it's versus Falcons at Bucks, versus 49ers, so Vernon Adams coming soon. Brandin Cooks for the Bills, Week 14 versus Bears. Get to see Darren Lane at Vikings, and then versus Panthers in Week 17. For next week's game, Ricardo Allen, Tevin Coleman, Ryan Schrader, Andy Levitri are all out, or for this week's game. Tough times for the 49ers, obviously. Let's see if Brandin Cooks is on the Bills. No injuries for the Bills, which is quite interesting. But as you know, we are without now Zach Strief, and we're also without quality players like Joey Shatley, like Kenny Vaccaro, DeMarcus Edens. I mean, we've suffered a lot of injuries so far this season, and you'd like to be able to compensate for it, but there's only so much that we can do. And Brandin Cooks leading the team in receptions with 40, 385 yards, and 4 touchdowns on the season. And Darren Lane has had Trey Forte, Alshon Jeffrey, so he's had weapons, just not enough. I mean, running game has been poor. 10 touchdowns, 11 picks. He's been sacked only 13 times, so not sure what the problem is. He's just struggling, I guess. But that pretty much is going to wrap everything up for this. We will be taking on the Atlanta Falcons next week, so that will be coming to you guys on Wednesday. I hope you enjoy. I'm Moonlightswami, and I'll be talking to you guys later. Peace!